Hey, 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 everybody. It's your girl Choose here, Gen X human, one who knows that she knows nothing at all. I'm still learning like everyone else. That's it. That's the intro. So, there is a board meeting tonight, August 5th, 2024, in Dolton. And instead of talking about this person or that person. We just want to take a small glimpse over the years and focus on what matters. Now, it absolutely does matter about who's elected, who's in the seat, but what matters the most is what the residents want and need for their community. It's a village, not a city. We can go into the differences later and kind of break that down. But for now, we just want to kind of take a few glimpses back and look at the behaviors of the people who have been before us. And we want to make an informed decision as we either watch from near or far or are physically present at the meeting tonight. It's not about the elected officials. It is not about this person versus that person. It is about the ordinances, the policies. It is about board meeting etiquette, what you should and shouldn't do, understanding what a board does. I think one of the biggest things in all the drama that has unfortunately escaped many people is that the mayor sits and chairs each board meeting. The mayor doesn't have a vote. Think about that for a second. The mayor is not voting. Yes, she can potentially get her agendas pushed, but with the board that she has right now, you all had a lot of power and you're fumbling as far as I can see. And this is not a personal dig on anyone. This is board etiquette. And knowing what we know about board etiquette, thing number one that we do is we stick to the items on the agenda. With that, we're going to pull up a board meeting from, I believe it was, 2019, right after Trustee Dwayne Muhammad was voted out and Trustee, per the MS Walk, Trustee Edward Steve Muhammad was voted in as trustee. Again, we're going to look at this through a lens of board meeting etiquette. Item number one, we always stick to the agenda. Oh, and before I do that, shout out Conscious because I am using this short clip because I have so many different tabs up and Conscious gets right to the point. So give Conscious a like, follow, and subscribe for a deeper understanding of the actual things at play. Right now, today, we're just doing board etiquette. That's all we're doing here. Oh, my bad. Also, the other reason that we did this is because I found something very interesting watching the actual board meeting. And so we're going to pull that up as well. But let's take a listen into this, knowing that board meeting 101, this is the actual board, one of the actual board meetings that we're going to be going over. But here we are. And Again, stick to the items on the agenda.
Before any of that, trustee Henry's social media has been very reckless towards me and the other trustees, and that's reality. So I commend her for anything she does, but the division didn't start with the balance walk. Division started when we won this last election, and ever since we've been in here. Again, like I said, in South Holland, you don't have a trustee going on social media talking about there's a murder here, there's a murder here, announcing it to the world. You don't have that in other towns, but here you have that, and you don't have other elected officials talking about other elected officials on social media. You're not going to find that in any other town besides Dolton. So I understand the division that happened, but it didn't start with this Valentine's March. And if anything that she wants to move forward with me and her on, we can do that. But don't act like it just started now. That's been out, and now I've been blocked from her social media page. So she talks about me on a regular. From people call me and say, she's mentioning your name again, but I can't see because I'm blocked. So as an elected official, as you represent the town, you don't represent yourself. You have to have some type of decorum and responsibility for what you say recklessly on social media. That's all I want to say.
Excuse me. Also, not to piggyback on Ed, but the young lady, Angelica Smith, who lost her life outside of the bar. She had a balloon release ceremony given by the Honorable Dorothy Brown. We were invited September the 20th, and her homegoing celebration was that Saturday that we attended, and the mayor was asked to speak. So it wasn't that we wasn't there because we didn't want to be there, but we were asked to attend her homegoing celebration by her family, and so we attended. And also, I'm asking you to continue prayer for her family. The young lady that lost her life had a 6-year-old daughter. So continue to pray for that family. Thank you.
May I be recognized?
Go ahead, trustee.
First, thank you all.
Let me tell you something about Dolton. I grew up out here. When you got 1,000,001 things to do, you make plans for Dolton first. I don't care about what you got to do outside of Dolton, because you ran to sit here. You need to show up and show out for your people when we need you. That's it. That's it. That's all. So I'm just sick of all the excuses for why people couldn't come together and band together for what we needed. Y'all need us now, not later, right now. So when they come in your door and they knocking about a vote, y'all remember this moment. Y'all remember how they turn their backs on y'all and don't be there or hear y'all voices, or how they cancel board meetings because they don't want to hear from the people. I'm sick and tired of that. And they just mad with me because I call them out on their garbage. That's it. That's all. I'm going to continue to do that. Unfortunately, I am the youngest trustee, but guess what? I am the senior trustee. They don't respect my seat or my title, but they get upset when I talk about them. And yes, y'all are bobbleheads. Y'all don't think for yourselves. Y'all do exactly what the mayor says, and that's it. And I'm tired of that. Y'all got to stand up for yourself and have a voice for the people. It's the people first.
Again, this is a board meeting, so if we gotta throw blows at one another, we can say that for after meeting. But this is not the time for somebody to be calling other folks bobbleheads. Again, this is a board meeting. So
I'm responding
that for after.
No. I'm responding because the other trustee brought that up to the board meeting. I never ever brought that up here at the board meeting. He brought Facebook up.
Okay.
Facebook had nothing to do with what we're talking about.
Facebook is a tool to communicate, not to get on there and
what I'm saying is stop being mad and let's get together and work together. That's it.
Okay. Again, see, Board Rule 101, we don't talk about items that are not on the agenda. In this case, is Tiffany right or wrong? When I first saw this, I thought she was right. Looking back and going back over this, Tiffany is correct. Mr. Edward Steve Muhammad, you are out of order. We stick to items on the agenda, and unless Facebook was on that agenda, I don't even know why we're talking about social media. However, when I ask myself a question like that, why are we talking about social media? It always leads me somewhere else. So we're going to let this finish. But number one, no, that was not part of the agenda. Should have been talked about. Too much time spent.
That's all I'm saying.
about being an adult in the
Trustee,
situation.
trustee.
Okay, then y'all need to be
If
an
you got
adult.
a conflict, then we need to talk about that
Trustee.
outside the board meeting.
I try to talk
Trustee
to everybody on this board, and none of y'all talk to me. I talk to Jason House and Deborah didn't. That's
Okay.
it. That's all the
That's
new
fine.
trustees.
All
I
right,
do not
trustee,
speak
we're gonna
with.
move on. We're gonna
That's
move
the
on,
problem.
trustee. We're gonna move
Can we
on.
move on with
All
this
I'm gonna
meeting?
say.
Now, we want to delve a little deeper. We've fast forwarded and gone to the Village of Dolton website, where further along in this meeting, I want you to really pay attention to Edward Steve. Let me put my little cursor here. He's not in the frame really, but he's in the frame enough, so much so that you can get a glimpse of his telephone. Or should I say his telephone? I'm sorry, Gen X mistake.
Those who may have skirted by a little bit longer than the village is comfortable with. I encourage that those payments come in quickly, or the payment arrangements as well. I think the office has worked as hard as possible to make arrangements to make it palatable for residents, but we do want to make sure that before that shutoff comes, that you have an arrangement in place and we can continue to collect.
Now, as you pay attention, look at Ed Steve. And then I'm going to expand the screen so that you can see in the chat. Pay attention to the chat.
Grass cuts 43 for a total of 72.75 collected. Board ups were 13 for a total of 678 collected. And regular sales 69 for a total of 13,800. And transfer of water bills to the tenant's name, we had 52 for a total of 1,300. Also this Saturday, we're going to have a workshop for the housing committee. So it's Saturday, October the 12th, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Crime-free housing, the housing market, CETA, foreclosure prevention, home ownership, Cook County lead abatement program, and more. And we will have refreshments this Saturday. So plan to see everyone there. Thanks. Village Hall, Saturday.
Now, can you all see this? Mr. Steve, why are you at a board meeting and in the chat? You are fired. Is this not social media? Is this not social media? Oh my goodness. Yes, that made me pay attention to see right here. That's from Chicago. Ed Steve, get on. That's from Chicago. Can see the meeting now. That's McBride. Can see clearly now. That's from Chicago. I would have come to the meeting tonight. Was unable to attend. I support our men. Can you all see Edward Steve, 46 minutes into this meeting, began talking about Tiffany Henry is very disrespectful. She is causing the disunity so sad. Wow. Honestly, wow. Let's see. I really think that that is just another. Ugh, hold on, I wanna unmute.
Melanie Fitness Center for Rashidat Detox Cafe. Trustee Steve.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mayor. We will be opening up, once we approve this, she opens up October 19th, a detox cafe. So she has smoothies, salads, wraps. It's healthy food right there in Melanie Fitness. So if you come in there and get something, maybe you'll be inspired to get a membership at the same time. So if you want to come get some healthy food, October 19th, it will be a grand opening. So to have that detox cafe in Melanie Fitness.
By putting a nice fence in there and give them 4 parking spots. And then trustees' statement that
These people are from outside of Dolton. You want to make an ordinance that says every single person that has a business in Dolton must be from Dolton?
No,
Because you'll be the first village ever in the world to do that.
Can we tell you
Keep it
something?
clean.
There is an ordinance on file that says if you own a business in Dalton, you should be a Dalton resident. Madam Clerk,
All right. Are you enforcing it?
we're not enforcing.
Okay, so then you can't single them
Now,
out.
now, let me ask you,
You're about singling people out.
weren't you the attorney on the sale of the business?
No, I was not.
The transfer?
I was not the attorney of sale of this.
Okay.
100% I was not.
We,
And when I spoke to you, the new owner, I said, show me the violations, and you couldn't show them to me.
May-
And you can't today because there hasn't been any
may I be
violations.
recognized?
There has not been any violations with the new owner.
Correct.
Because, you know why? Because it hasn't been enforced. Because it hasn't been enforced.
Mayor, come on.
It hasn't been enforced.
Don't.
This is the last thing I want to do. This is the last thing I want to do. Those blocks are not the long-term solution.
I have a long-term solution. Would you allow them to do the long-term solution?
And I've got one too. That's city property. And we're going to protect it.
Would you
And
allow them to
it's
do their
gonna-
long-term solution?
It's going to cost us some money to put up guardrails, but I'm going to put up guardrails.
We're going to
there.
pay for the guardrails. We're going to pay for the guardrails.
You want to pay for the guardrails?
Yes. Give us 4 spots. We'll pay for the guardrails.
Mayor, can,
Well, we don't want guardrails. We want something better than that.
no, don't,
I'm not going to risk the chance. I'm not going to risk the chance of the loitering to begin again and the drug trafficking there to begin again and take the risk of somebody getting hurt there.
Mayor.
Mayor, can I be recognized?
Go ahead, trustee.
Mayor, I want to say something. Again, I'm gonna reiterate my point. Is that yeah, every business owners don't have to live in the village. That hasn't been enforced. But if y'all were going to do that, y'all would have done it before the shooting.
Right.
The place
Thank
been
you.
dirty.
Thank
The place been a mess. So don't come up here now act like I'm gonna do it now because there's a little spotlight on you. It's not sincere. You don't care about this community. You get rich off us. So we should move to
My
shut
clients
it down.
are new
Don't come-
owners.
let me finish. Don't come up here talking about, bro, what you doing this, man? What you doing? You come into our community. You getting rich off our people. Don't do that. Don't. Then you can take her and y'all can both sit down. Period.
Mayor.
Oh my gosh. He is so disrespectful. I mean, seriously, the disrespect is coming from Ed Steve, and Tiffany's not even married yet. Also, I wanted to make sure that if you cannot see the chat, they were an hour into this meeting, and throughout this meeting, Ed Steve is posting to social media. YouTube is social media. You, sir, are the main one in the comment section. As you bring up someone else's social media, based on boardroom just ethics, you're fired. Oh, they did that already.
The one thing about Station 2, all you had to do is call the fire department and ask what was going on in Station 2. It's been open. It's been worked on since Scott been back. So all this is pointless. All you have to do is ask the questions. 2, we just had a big meeting about what happened. We can't disclose it to the public that she was just.
Want this new board to succeed in reducing the debt and the deficit of our village and coming up with ideas to bring real revenues to this village and not on the back of we the taxpayers. I want to see this new board tackle the problem of paying out $6 million a year in debt service. Congratulatory letter to them I sent just before their inauguration about a month ago. I also sent the same letter to all the department heads of our village employees. Unfortunately, the mayor refused me and the other trustees to make our outgoing statements to the public.
I thought that was so disrespectful. I just really thought that was so disrespectful.
And the deficit of our village and coming up with ideas to bring real revenues to this village and not on the back of we the taxpayers. I want to see this new board tackle the problem of paying out $6 million a year in debt service from the constant borrowing of monies to pay salaries, paying bills, and spending money that hasn't been budgeted. My question to Attorney Murphy concerning another bond that this board would probably vote on again tonight, taking this village deeper in debt and increasing our debt service that I mentioned earlier. And I hope this board would get some laser focus on reducing the village's debt. The bond home wood disposal is offering the village a $1,400,000. Attorney Murphy, is it true the annual tax levy mentioned in the ordinance language, meaning that our taxes will be raised to pay the principal and interest back to Homewood Disposal for this bond? Is that so?
No, the levy will stay the same as last year because this replaces a bond levy that was made in prior years.
Okay, well, if you go to section 9 of that write-up of that particular.
Okay. You all stop blaming Tiffany for your taxes. Shout out Trina down. Stop blaming Tiffany. Y'all see who was there? There you go right there. Trina down in the house. Queen. Okay, and like I said, I am so new to this. I done got spaces in here where I thought I was talking and I'm not. I'm just gonna have to go live so y'all can be like, hey, you're muted. Anyway, okay, so we're skipping further ahead because, you know, if you all can't come to your own conclusions without me having to fill in everything, just check around and, you know, figure out what is best for you and not based on a person, based on what it is that you need. So here we fast forwarded to the meeting where Tiffany Henyard is now mayor, and it's August 2nd, 2021, which I find really, really wild. Again, the comments are up. This is the Village of Dolton webpage and or YouTube page, and I just find it very disturbing. You know, the comment section, I find the board, well, I can't say the board as a whole. I find some of the members on the board, they have a lack of professionalism. I mean, I'm just gonna make it plain. We're talking about board etiquette. So everything that we've seen thus far, I've seen Trustee Ed Steve interrupt, speak on things that aren't on the agenda. We've had some glimpses, not so much in this video, but in previous videos. And I mean, even just if you watch the board meetings on the Village of Dolton webpage or the Dolton trustee page, whichever one, if you watch it from a lens of board meetings are to discuss the items on the agenda and to take care of business. The mayor does not vote. The trustees do. So whatever any mayor brings up, the trustees always can say yes or no. And that's what made me relook at why are certain items being approved and not approved? Because it's the trustees that hold that power. But we're about 25 minutes in, so let's continue. Like I said, we fast forwarded here to August 2nd, 2021.
Last but not least, we have Shamisha Williams for building permits.
And why they're not doing this anymore, I don't know.
Hello,
Okay.
everyone.
Hello.
Hi. Okay, for the building department, we issued 93 general permits, 27 plumbing permits, 13 electrical permits, 8 homeowners permits. We registered 23 contractors. We received 5 business license payments. 11 water meters were installed. We get 5 water turn off payments. Motor fuel tax payments we did 6 of those, and 5 liquor tax payments for the month of July. And that's it.
All right, thank you so much.
All right.
Community, I hope that you guys are watching this and you see all the department heads. These are the people that you go to the village to see on a daily basis. So now I'm trying to make it be more flexible and that you become one with them and you know their faces. So thank you guys for all tuning in. Next, we have corporate bills, Trustee House.
Thank you, Mayor. We have, for our corporate bills, we'll be reading into record. We did an electronic vote last month for us, so I'll read those bills into record. And I guess we have to do the formal vote, and then I'll read the bills for this coming month.
Okay, 1 second, Trustee. You're reading the old bills. We already approved those. So why would you be reading those into record right now?
The bills for last month have not been done publicly. So
we never do. We've always did them as the consent agenda, but we never read them or did it at a board meeting. We always just voted for it and then that'd be it. So what would be your logic?
I spoke with Clerk Key as well as the attorney, and then those have not been read for transparency in front of the residents as well. That would be the logic.
Okay, but what I'm saying is this. So you want to just read them into the record or are you trying to go over them? What are you trying to do?
Well, I believe we have to vote on them as well.
We don't have to vote on them because we already voted on them through consent agenda, which was last month's bills. Now we're in a whole month later. So why would we be voting on something you guys already approved?
Well, I would ask the attorney to chime in. That was not my understanding when I spoke with the clerk and attorney earlier.
Now, I'm going to pause it there because we are discussing etiquette. Terrible etiquette. Terrible. Did you approve the bills last month? If you approved the bills last month, why are we doing this? Okay, I mean, we understand transparency and all that, but at this point, Mayor Henry is asking, is it to be read into the record? Like, what is your reasoning for doing this? And in this chat, I see Sherry Hatcher Britton, the residents wanted read. That's totally understandable. They were approved. And so what I'm not understanding is why it seems like it's a problem for Trustee House. And I mean, come on now. This right here, can you imagine Mayor sitting in the seat like this while people are talking? I cannot with these faces and these mannerisms. It's unprofessional.
Okay, that's fine. Is she, I don't see her. Attorney
I'm
Shantae,
here.
are you here?
I just
Okay.
turned it on. So
Okay.
I spoke with the clerk earlier, and the question is with respect to these bills, and the question that I was posed was if they should be read at tonight's board meeting in addition to this month's bills. And my response was, well, why not? If you're just adding them on. And then I spoke to the mayor, and then I also spoke to the village administrator. And I had not been able to touch base with Ms. Johnson before we were evacuated from the village hall. But I found out at that point that it was an established practice, the way that you did it by email. So I did have some additional questions about that for the poll, the way that you process the poll. So that was the communication that we had today. But at this point, if you're just reading it on and adding it and not discussing,
Who are you looking at?
Okay.
I don't see an issue.
Trustee House. It'd be like y'all be.
All right.
They've already
So
been
you wanted to-
approved, is my
You see,
understanding.
who are you
They've already
looking
been
at?
approved, they've already been paid. So we on to this one list currently that we have before us. So if you just want to read that into record, go right ahead.
Okay, so the first warrant list we had was corporate payment register number 191. This was the electronic register with corporate payments of $66,548.92. The water fund having payments for register 191 of $280,433.24, with total corporate payments on register 191 $346,982.16.
And this
And
is
then
for
corporate payment,
this for the last month?
that is for last month, yes.
Okay, give a date for the record.
That would be for the month of, that would be July's payment register. That's the electronic payment registers for July.
All right, thank you.
And then the warrant list register, which is corporate payments register 192, payments of $661,784.71. Manual checks $565 even. Gross payroll June 4th, 2021, $389,422.01. Gross payroll for June 18th, $359,412.43. Manual checks issued $58,774.64. Melanie Fitness Center register 192, $6,741.71. Gross payroll for Melanie's on June 4th, $927.11. Gross payroll June 18th, Melanie Fitness Center, $927.11. Total corporate payments for register 192 is $1,478,554.72. Those were the bills for previous months that were approved electronically.
Congratulations, Sir House. Also, Kiana Belcher, trustee, were you on your phone as well? You all are not very professional.
List for this month, which is payment register 193, corporate payments of $17,585.55. Water fund register 193, payments $279,936 even. 2009 bond payment $132,500.
Oh no, clerk key, not gum in your mouth. I'm sorry. That comes from my grandma. Oh no, don't chew gum in public at a board meeting. That
Total payments on register 193 is $719,089.05.
perfect.
And last but not least, the corporate payments on our warrant list, which is payment register 194, corporate payments of $1,465,704.36. Manual checks issued $120,798.82. Gross payroll July 2nd, $354,820.73. Gross payroll July 16th, $367,416.47. Gross
You're so shifty. Be still. You're supposed to. Okay. Board etiquette. If you're going to be moving around when you're on Zoom, you turn your camera off. Etiquette.
payroll for Melanie Fitness on July 2nd, $927.11. Gross payroll July 16th, $945.11. Gross payroll July 30th, $945.11. So total payments for Register 194 is $3,127,533.58. I would ask for a motion to pay the bills.
All right, is there a motion to pay the bills?
Is this all together, or is
Oh
this
boy.
for a warrant list for August 2nd, 2021?
Correct. That's for the current warrant list.
That's for Register 193 and 194, the current warrant list.
Okay, so then I have a question.
Before we could do
194.
discussion.
Okay,
Okay.
I was just making sure it was 193 and 94. Okay, I make a motion that we approve the current corporate bills, amending and removing item line number 01-14549, Marvelous Media, removing 01-12592, Mad Bombers Fireworks, removing 01-12592, Barricades, removing 01-12592, fireworks signs.
Now, look at Jason's face. He looks genuinely confused. She looks tired. Kiana, why are you removing the fireworks? Why are you removing paying for that? Because back in 2021, I watched this meeting, and rewatching this meeting last month, you all discussed fireworks and barricades, but go on, just go on. The etiquette is all wrong. Again, Tiffany Henyard is right. Before you even move on to discussion, you're so ready to argue under the guise of discussion that you all are not all, that certain board members are not following board procedure. How about, can we pay for a training for incoming trustees, just a board training so everyone understands their roles?
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, who was that? That second?
Was it? What's it, Steve?
At Steve. Okay. Okay, so hold on 1 second.
We pretty much take it all, fridges and dishwashers.
Done the work. Is it a reason for why you removing the items, Trustee Belcher? You can go through each one and tell us why you're removing them.
Okay, so this is our issue, which has come across the board several times now. When you first asked for fireworks, you asked for $5,000 for the fireworks show. We spent $3,000 in June that was paid to Mad Bombers. I requested a copy of donations before anybody says we got donations. We got a $2,000 donation from the Thornton Township, and then $1,000, which I don't know if that was actually for the fireworks, from 5 Point Star Concrete. But you went over the $5,000 and spent an additional $3,000. Total bills right now for special events that you spent is $30,000 in 3 months. The spending for these events has become ridiculous. So I feel as a resident that this show, which was a nice show, but of course it did not come in consent with all the additional spending that you made a decision to spend. So I'm asking to remove those items until we can do something about your spending.
I'm so glad that you said 3 months because I was just thinking, like, didn't she just get in there in May? Like, didn't she literally just really get in there? But what was with that clap? That is unprofessional. Unprofessional. Number one, the little clapping, but whatever. The fireworks show was nice. Perhaps there was an overspending issue. I don't know. I wasn't there. However, you have to pay those people. You had the fireworks show. What? So instead of talking to the mayor before this meeting, you came here to clap your hands about to spend the end of 3 months. What? Anyway.
As it relates to anything on this agenda, I always encourage each trustee, y'all know my phone number. You can call and ask questions about anything you have a problem with on this agenda. You guys do not. The people, meaning the residents, is tired of this show here, and they asked us to talk about all this behind closed doors before we get here. But here we are. If y'all would ask me what the issues are or what's the problem as it relates to Mayor Bomber, I would have told you. I did not overspend anything. I spent exactly what the board asked of me. Now, we are the people on the contract as it relates to Mayor Bomber. We have to pay them the money and get our money back from the other party that stated they was paying the other $5,000. Other than that, I'm not over budget. I spent exactly what you guys approved for me. But on here now today that you see for the money, that's the money that's owed to them. And then we have to get our difference back from the other vendor that stated they was paying us for the put on the show. That's number one. Number two, you said something about media. I don't understand why you won't pay the media and Ed Steves know more than anybody how much something like this would cost. I've talked to him several times about paying what is his real name? I call him Chew, but paying Marvell for his services. The guy comes out, he does a service, he sit here, he films everybody, he includes everybody, and I don't understand why we would not pay him. It's been over a month since he has gotten paid, and he did this service. So here it is on month 2, and you saying we still don't want to pay him what is owed to him. And then
Very well said, Mayor Henyard, because you are correct. All of these people should be paid, and then you figure it out later. Sounds like there was something about one vendor that's supposed to cover another. Sometimes you have a net 30, which means you get paid in 30 days, or a net 60, which is 60 days. Sometimes it's paid on upon receipt. However, I just feel I don't feel this was unnecessary as a board member, one with the power to make the decision anyway. I'm not sure why you're so upset and talking about her spending, and I don't understand, because at the end of the day you can vote yes or you can vote no. So the bickering, from what I can see here, has come from two individuals thus far. Edward Steve Muhammad, who has basically been going back and forth with her since both were trustees. Trustee Kiana Belcher, who I understand ran on Riley's ticket, so there may be several reasons why you're doing this, but either way, it doesn't look good. It's a bad look, because let her pay the bills, and then the following month check her spending. So all of this, the mayor is out of control. If the mayor did get out of control with her spending, it is definitely because the trustees allowed her to do that. If you knew that you had this issue in August of 2021, when she was 3 months in, Trustee Belcher, what you could have done, if you just wanted to really prove your point, and as a resident help the village, okay, we're going to approve this, and this vendor needs to come through with this other payment, and we will not be doing ABC or XYZ from this moment forward. It wasn't hard. You all have the power. So looking back on this, when she says grandstanding and putting on a show, you are. You are. There are people in the comments, same people. It's not the same people as now, but some of the same people, the people who are advisors and leaders and resident whisperers are in this chat. And it's ridiculous, because why are you arguing when at the end of the day you can vote no? You can vote no, but you want to argue and do this. I'm gonna let them go ahead, because the other thing that I see in all this is I don't see Tiffany being, excuse me, Mayor Tiffany Henyard being disrespectful or rude or any of this. I don't see that. I do see that coming from Keon Belcher. I have seen that coming from Ed Steve Muhammad. I've seen this. You're looking at it right here. If you want to, turn your head like Miss Abbott put in one of the chats. Oh my goodness, Tiffany is so disrespectful. It's right in front of your face, her not being disrespectful, and y'all will say she disrespectful. That's coming from people who used to be in a 30s when I was a teenager, and unfortunately, it's sad that a lot of y'all still seem to be those same mean 30-year-old people sitting up at Dorchester. But I digress.
The ones that I didn't,
the barricades that you use for blocking off the street and the fireworks signs.
The barricades.
Yes, it was barricade came 0112592 under special events. The barricades cost $4,711.
$4,000. Okay. For the barricades, for blocking off the street. Okay. Well, I wouldn't know how much that really ran. I didn't order it. Okay. And what else?
And then the fireworks signs.
So the fireworks signs, why would I not order fireworks signs? Even though I don't order the stuff, the staff orders the stuff. So I couldn't even tell you that the price of what you're saying it costs. But it was for an event.
Mayor, that makes it even more uncertain that you don't know the prices of the stuff that you're spending.
I did not know.
Which makes me more uncomfortable with the spending. So
that makes no sense. If she doesn't know what was spent, that would make sense. She doesn't run the day to day. She wouldn't be the one that would order the actual, she wouldn't be sitting there like, okay, we're doing this fire, we're using these barricades, so I'm going to make these calls myself. I know from working in a government agency that that's not the way it works. The bosses don't sit and make the calls and actually sit and pay the bills.
I have a question.
Sure.
The location, if someone can explain the location Finders International for $350,000, what is that?
The who?
Location Finders International, $350,000. Can someone explain what is that for? What is that service for?
Okay, well, Chris can explain the one list to you guys.
Location Finders International, that is your Sibley Woodlawn TIF 2. That is the final installment payment that you guys have on the contract that was issued into with the vendor 20 years back.
Okay.
20 years back.
Thank you.
Final payment.
Hey.
Mayor, if I can be recognized.
Final payment for something 20 years back.
Another $5,000 if that's going to be donated. Who's donating it, and do they have an idea when that's going to be coming in to offset some of the costs?
Yeah, that's what I was waiting on. That was supposed to get donated from School Board 148. So that's what I was waiting on. If you guys don't want to pay it, don't pay it. But it was.
Okay. That makes sense. She said it's supposed to be coming in from school board 208, and that's where the donation was supposed to be coming from. If you all don't want to pay, don't pay it. Makes total sense. It's like you're just at this point trying to bamboozle her. Why? I mean, what I understand from this is Dr. Nikita was in what was she here 3 months in? Oh yeah, was she PR or chief of staff? I'm not sure. But let's see the comments. Talking behind closed doors does not work. If the trustees did not approve, then the mayor should not, cannot spend. Behind closed doors is not transparent. So that's a problem. I mean, the mayor is not to spend without board approval, and I have not heard of an RFP for any vendor. Okay, so I mean, do y'all not understand how this works? The- Any head, you all are trying to paint it, and when I say you all, I'm talking about 3 people that I've seen in the chat, in this chat and another one. Dr. Nikita Cloud behind the scenes while I mean, if we're going to talk about behind closed doors, Dr. Nikita Cloud was behind those doors, and this was unraveling, and it got worse. So I don't really have much else because we can go into a billion meetings or go through another, all 4 years, which I mean, we can do, but there's a meeting today, August 5th, 2024. Please understand that any head of an organization, a city, a village, Tiffany is not the one that is going out and writing checks and saying, woohoo, here's a Tahoe. I just bought a Tahoe. Or whatever else. I'm just using the Tahoe as an example to explain that even if that was the case, at the end of the day, the trustees are the ones that have the power. If the state doesn't come in and take over, the trustees are the ones who have the power to say no. And I don't see Tiffany being upset. She's like, just say no. We learned that back in the 80s. But anyway, yeah. And back to the board etiquette. I hope that all trustees, as well as the mayor, all elected officials, will show up at this meeting professionally, sticking to the items on the agenda. Hopefully, since there is a special meeting before the, I guess, committee of a whole meeting, that's an opportunity to talk to Tiffany. I don't know if a retreat is still on the table, but, and I don't even know if this is fixable. But let's start. We can start with this. As the elected officials and as residents who will actually be voting, don't listen to anybody that don't live there. Now that would take a lot of people out. Boom. Number 2, don't listen to anybody tell you who you should be voting for based on them being good or bad. If it's not discussing what you need as a resident, then you shouldn't be listening to that. Number 3, please do educate yourselves. This is not saying that anyone is uneducated, But if there's something that you don't understand, ask, Google it, go back and re-look at things. I mean, that's what I did to even come to some of the conclusions that I've come to. Sometimes you just have to go back and make sure what was said to yesterday, how does that affect what's going on now? What was done yesterday, how is that affecting what's going on right now? But residents, your job is to listen to everything that's being said and to understand who actually does what. Some of you have been bamboozled and hoodwinked and led astray because a lot of you really think that every purchase that comes down, it's Tiffany going to the firework place and picking out the fireworks, and it just doesn't work like that. Residents understand that if the bills are not being paid, it's fully on the trustees. It's fully on them. As I can see from this August 2nd, 2021 meeting, that could have been squashed then. All you had to do was talk to each other, do a retreat. Some of the things that Tiffany said in the Sun Times that she offered to you all, maybe she didn't, but maybe now is the time to do that because this new Clean House 2025 thing is not working. Residents are not understanding what's really at stake. Not all of them. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But a lot of people don't really understand that at the end of the day, Tiffany's not voting. She doesn't have a vote. She's chairing the meeting. Whether or not your bills get paid, that's up to the trustee. Another thing, a lot of these things that you all are paying for, you're paying back from not only Mayor Riley, but as was mentioned in this meeting, a final payment from a 20-year-old contract. Keep these things in mind as you plan to attend or watch tonight's board meeting. And again, I would just hope that everyone would be able to play their positions correctly, knowing what needs to be done. I would hope that there is some way for the trustees and Tiffany to have a conversation with no one else in the room. So, like Tammy said, whatever, like she said. But all y'all need to, whatever that thing was, y'all need to be put y'all in the room, lock y'all up in there until y'all figure it out through 2025, because the residents at the end of the day being hurt by all of this. But I myself, and these are my views and opinions, I can't put it all on Tiffany because it seems like she has been trying to cooperate. And looking at this, it appears now that the trustees were the ones all along trying not to cooperate. I don't blame you all, but all the people that you have in the background, you got to let them go. If they are a former trustee, they need to be away from around y'all. If they don't live there, but they're trying to speak for the people, they should be up from around y'all. Final thoughts? If you agree that whatever happens in 2025, until then, if the mayor and the trustees go into Village Hall tomorrow, just keep them all in there until they come out and are able to get along. I don't know, that might not be such a good idea, but I hope that you all go into or watch this meeting with an open mind, looking at all sides. And until next time, sending you love and light.